Arlen. Wait a sec.
Can you hear me now?
Hey, Larry, while I got you, tell me about your speech with Steve.
With
Did you
Steve.
enjoy it? Man,
Oh, that's
did you
coming
have
up.
it already?
No, October the
Oh,
5th.
okay, okay. Yeah, I didn't know if
Yes.
you'd already
Thank
had
you
it
so
or
much.
not. Yeah.
Maria is coming with me down to Hilton Head. We're driving on the 4th, and then speak on the 5th, and then my daughter turns 10 on the 6th.
Okay. You might bring back a little bambino in the oven.
Don't say that, James. We haven't
Don't-
shut down. We haven't shut down the factory yet.
All right. You know what they say, what happens in Hilton Head, you might bring back a little present. Y'all behave.
Funny story, Jane. We went there on a family vacation, so I recorded a promo video from the location right there at the Sinesta in Hilton Head.
Yeah. Nice, nice. There's Stan the man.
Yeah. How are you? How's everything going, Jane?
Good. I'm at LaGuardia. Um, I've been in New York for a couple of days. It's been fun. I'm in this Elysian circle of women, and we actually they did a fashion show. It's a wonderful way to connect. So I made a lot of really some incredible connections, and I'm not going to miss this thing again. They had a fashion show, and we actually won for best documentary, our Elysian Circle of Women. So that was kind of fun. But so that's where I am. I'm waiting for my flight in about an hour and a half or so. So I
Wow.
thought I'd tune in.
Congratulations.
Thank you. What are y'all up to?
Stan, where are you heading?
He's in his fishbowl
And
car.
I'm curious. I'm heading to Wendell Country Club.
Oh, nice.
Off of Jake May Parkway, I think.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jane, where do you fly into to go home?
Well, I'm flying, thank goodness, I'm flying directly into Columbia this time, and I just drive back to Johnston. So I appreciate that. Normally I go Purgatory, Atlanta, I flew out that way. So yeah, yeah, so that makes it easy, but normally Augusta, but this time I got a direct back to Columbia. Makes it easy.
Nice. Nice. Delta, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah, I came super early because I roomed with a friend of mine. Thank God when I saw the bill, I about died. But there's so much going on out here, Fashion Week and then US Open. And so
Right.
fix your hair, Kevin. Hello.
We got a CPAE in the house now. That's awesome.
Oh, I'm a legend too,
Yeah.
which means I'm OLD. So let me tell y'all how that happened. Dave Gordon, y'all know Dave Gordon?
No.
He's an interesting person. Anyway, we're recording, right? He's an interesting person. And so he called me up before COVID and he said, congratulations. We would like to induct you into the legends in the speaking profession. And I said, oh, what's wonderful. I said, thank you. He said, the date is so-and-so. Can you be there to be inducted? And I said, let me look at my calendar. And he said, if you can't, we're going to pick somebody else. I went, oh, I'm honored, question mark. So I finally, and it was really nice. It's a very small, it's like 80 people, but it's like Naomi and Jim. And it was just fun people, Alan, Margaret. So that was all good. It was all good.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Kevin,
So
you're on, right?
You on the road, Kevin? My internet's unstable. Okay.
Hoping that helps. I'm at an airport. I'm at a military airport hangar. that they told me not to disclose where.
Oh, they'd have to kill you.
They
Yeah, it's not stable.
actually salvage military aircraft and helicopters. Oops.
Oh.
How am I? Am I coming through? Am I a little bit?
Yeah, a little shaky.
All right, let me think here what I can do. This is my worry.
Can you hotspot off your phone?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Let me see if I can hotspot without the Wi-Fi. Can you hotspot without using Wi-Fi? Because normally my hotspot wants to use the Wi-Fi if it can find it.
I think you have to use Wi-Fi unless I'm not thinking right. Every time I've hotspotted, it's always called, wanted a Wi-Fi connection. Oh, y'all, we got a ghost. I gotta send this. Yeah, we got a real ghost. I'm going. If you let me share screen in a second. Well, wait a minute. No, it's on my thing. This is so freaky. Everybody's freaking out in Edgefield over it.
Try to drum up tourism.
Say what?
You trying to drum up tourism? With the ghosts?
No, they've called in Ghostbusters. This is what we do.
Oh.
And well, then it was suggested that they call in a Roman Catholic priest because it's spooky. Y'all ain't gonna believe this. I'm just telling you right now. All right. This ghost was not bad. Let me see if I can't find it. This thing is slow in this little soundproof room. See if I can't pull this up. Oh, yes, I can. Before we get started. Okay, let me blow it up. This is so freaky. Are y'all ready? Wait a second. Where am I? Darn it. Where are you? Zoom. Okay. Can I share screen?
Yes.
All right. Let me see if I. Oh, doo-doo. I messed it up again. Let's see. Okay. Let me pull this up. All right. I can get it now. I can't see my prompts at the bottom. Shoot. All right. I'm going to have to send it to you, Larry, to share.
Okay. Okay.
Because I can't. My screen is too funkied up.
If you email it to me, I can always pull that up.
It'll scare you. I'm just telling y'all right now, this is not Photoshop. That's what's so weird. It showed up in our veterinarian's office.
What in the world?
I'm telling y'all. Spooky.
Is your veterinarian's office right next to the pet cemetery?
I thought if it was going to be a ghost in the veterinarian's office, it should be like an animal. But it showed up behind the pig. See, this is getting crazy by the second. I know. All right, I'm just going to forward this to you. Oh, doo-doo. All right, I'm just going to forward it. Larry, that's going to scare you. On the heels of Halloween. Da, 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 da. Go, Ghostbusters. Okay, it's coming. I know y'all are anxious.
Oh, I can't wait. Let's see.
It is so bizarre. They were just taking a picture of the pig.
It's a picture or a video?
It's a picture of a pig and a ghost.
Okay, gotcha.
You get it, Larry?
Not yet. Not yet. Okay, here it is.
It's gonna scare you. Look behind the pig. You see it?
All right, let me share my screen. Oh, goodness.
See? You see behind the pig, that gray thing? Look at that.
What is it?
It's a ghost.
It's not a ghost.
This is an old house. My friend lived there. She told me she had a ghost. Everybody thought she's drunk. And so Dr. Bagshaw bought it, and the ghost was okay. They never saw him until they added on, and the ghost got mad. And it's been all this paranormal activity's been going on. So somebody snapped that picture of the pig and sent it to a friend of mine. That's not photoshopped at all. And he sent it to me, and he said, "Look behind the pig." I went, "No, it's the ghost." You see it?
Oh, that's funny. I ain't
Isn't
afraid.
that creepy? Listen to you. Well, that's so now they're calling in a priest to put oil over all the doors and the windows. This has a lot to do with earning your CSP, by the way. And and so that's what's going on, y'all.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Never a dull moment. I love it.
And just think, we're a small town, but we got ghosts.
Certified in spooky paranormal.
Yes, very good. That's not Photoshop. That was sent to my friend who's my computer guy. And he said, "Look at this." And I went, "What?" Anyway. So that's all I got, people.
Great to see you, Michelle.
Oh, hi. How are you doing? I'm just curious as to the conversation. That's a weird place to come midway into. But lovely to see you all.
There's Peter. Yes. Yeah, I had to show the latest small town Edgefield gossip is the ghost. Right there.
Wow.
Who's doing that?
That was easy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. Too funny.
Look at Kevin. He's trying his best to make this happen.
Oh, goodness. Miss Sharon, how are you? Oh, you're on mute, Sharon. I got a mic for you. or two. I can't hear you, Sharon. I don't know if anyone else can.
Peter can't.
From the peak of great living, Peter A.
Just to let you know up front that tonight,
Testing.
Yes.
I'm headed to Clayton tonight to go see my all-girl AC/DC cover band called Shoot the Thrill. So if you like AC/DC, come to Clayton.
Wow. Wow. I love it.
I got you beat on that one.
How?
If you like Ghost, come to Dr. Bagshaw's office in Edgefield.
Jane, I got to look that one up, man.
No, I just showed the picture. Somebody took a picture of a pig. And Larry put it up there. This is not photoshopped. Everybody's freaking out. They've called in a Roman Catholic priest to get rid of the ghost in the veterinarian's office.
Oh, my God.
I know. To
What
scare
is the
you
pig
Yankees
supposed
back
to
up
do?
north. Well, the pig was just a novelty pig Dr. Bragshaw treated. And somebody took a picture of the little vet tech, and then looked behind. They've been having weird stuff happen, and now we figured it out. Mm-hmm. So that's better than any AC/DC you got going.
Oh, well, fantastic Friday. We're right at the top of the hour, 12 o'clock. Thank you so much to everyone for joining. It was great having that networking, that conversation amongst peers before we get into today's SIG, Specialty Interest Group. And the topic on today is how to earn the CSP, your Certified Speaking Professional, the earned designation within NSA. And this is from the website. You can all see it, but by earning your CSP, you can prove to meeting professionals that you're among the top echelon of professional speakers who have earned this international designation that only about 17% of NSA members worldwide have earned. I know that for me, I have it on my radar, but I'm really going to turn this over to folks that are more experienced in their CSP. But I do want to give a few reminders, upcoming events coming up on the 13th. Next week, we've got a SIG on speaker demo videos. Coming up on the 23rd, we have an in-person meeting here in Raleigh. It's going to be on the business of professional speaking virtually. We're going to be at Evans Attended Event Studio. Going to be an amazing program. Super excited for that program. Take a look at the website. We've got a professor. We've got a 30+ year veteran. We've got our own Stan Phelps. We got Evan sharing about the keys to success. Raise the roof, Stan, in virtual presenting. We've also got SIGs coming up on podcasting, book publishing, and promotion. And this is one that's near and dear to my heart. Starting on October the 21st, we're kicking off our 4th annual NSA Carolina Speaker Academy. So if you're looking to elevate your speaker profession to the next level, build a better business, be a better speaker, you certainly want to come to Speaker Academy. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the microphone over to Kevin. If Kevin can hear us, it looks like you're in your ride. Kevin, the mic is all yours.
I'm on spotty Wi-Fi, and I know we've all said that a few times, but I apologize. Let me know if I'm shaky. But no, hey, want to say thank you to our CSPs who are investing some time to be here today. So, hey, Valda.
I just jumped on the meeting. I'll call you back.
Okay. All right.
And also want to thank all of you who are interested. This is a great turnout. I'll be a little transparent too to kick this off. I was a little surprised, and not to impress anyone, but to impress upon us. I know that there's a lot more CSPs in NSA Carolinas. This past year, it was just me. I was honored for that, but at the same time, I'm thinking, come on, y'all. Like, there's more of us. And whether it's in 2024 or 2025 or beyond, it's a great North Star to pursue as professional speakers. So real quick, for those of us who are CSPs or CPAEs, will you simply post in the chat if you can, or virtually raise your hand so we can acknowledge you real quick? All right. We have Stan Phelps, and y'all say it with me, CSP. Let me do that one more time. CSP. Stan Phelps, CSP.
CSP.
We have Nancy Appleman-Vassell,
CSP.
and we have Jane Jenkins-Harlong,
CSP.
CPAE.
CPAE.
Oh my gosh, I know that was a little wow. So hey, thank you all. They're going to share, I've at least asked them whatever they want to share, but they're going to be sharing with us today a challenge or a couple challenges they had going through the process. I've never talked to a CPAE or CSP really that didn't have something that through their application. Yeah, you got to adjust, and you got to, but also they're going to share some tips and recommendations. And as they're doing that, what I would like, I think the most value for everybody's time today, if you are pursuing, that would be everybody else who's interested in and or going to be pursuing a CSP. What I'd love for you to do is just post that in the chat real quick. If you're actually very interested in CSP for 2024, 2025 or beyond, what year do you think that, post it in the chat, what year do you think CSP might be on your mind? Or if you're not sure, put a question mark. But if you don't mind, everybody who's not a CSP, post in the chat what year you think you might be pursuing this. So Sharon says 2024. Valda says 2024. Deanna, 2025. Mercedes, 2024. Peter A, 2029. Michael, 2025. Yeah, and it's okay if you're not sure, because hey, that's why we're here, is to support you. So look, already one action item would be for any of you interested, look at the chat right now. This could be your little mini mastermind to continue the conversation, whether it's for support, whether it's for encouragement, whether it's for accountability, right? All those things that we need. I actually had that this past year for me, but I had it with other CSP applicants from other chapters. So I found it, and I found it actually because I was president-elect, and there's another president-elect group. That's where I found it. So I needed it. It was so helpful. Plus, Stan Phelps pushed me. He challenged me. I honestly, and I say this every time, if I see Stan in the room, which he is today, I wouldn't be. It was Stan's nudging and encouragement. I don't know if I would have pursued it, at least not as soon as I did. So shout out to Stan. But that just is a testimony to NSA. All right. So folks, as the CSP future classes are, as you're thinking about a question, like think of, I hope you've reviewed the content. Today is not, just to reinforce, today is not a walk through the process. That's already there for you. It's already online. There's a checklist, there's a guide, there's videos. You're gonna have to do some self-study. Today is more so about connection and about getting any specific clarification questions from any of us who've gone through the process. NSA has a CSP committee too that you can reach out to, and they are so helpful. They are so amazing. So no, you've got plenty of resources here. But while we got our time today, I want to be mindful of what you all want to get out of this today. So post in the Q&A. Do we have a Q&A feature? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Depends.
Chat. We'll use chat.
Do we have that, Larry?
Chat.
Do y'all see? Okay, I'm not seeing a Q&A. Yeah, so I'm not seeing Q&A, but yeah, so post in the chat a question or even a comment, but focus on a question if you can, because while you're doing that, I'm going to ask if we can go with Jane, Nancy, and Stan, if you all can share a real quick 1 or 2 challenges that you experienced going through the process, and then round it up with 1 or 2 tips or recommendations you would give somebody who's going to be pursuing it. Jane, would you like to start?
Sorry about that. I got a phone call. So the biggest challenge was recalling all those speaking engagements so you could actually prove that you have the documentation. So you document everything, write down where you were, who the client was, and there's a method to this madness. What your presentation was about, the time you spoke. I mean, be so intentional, it'll drive you crazy. But it's important to do that. So that was one of the challenges. And I didn't realize, see, they changed, but when I was doing it, they said that like I had 4 different clients in one day or 3 different clients. I was doing this speaking out in South Georgia down at the Sunbelt Farm Expo. I could have gotten my CSP so much sooner had I realized that now with why did it, I don't know what the rules are now. You had to have a different client. So I was using that one client, but I realized there were like 4 different people during the day. I could have gotten that thing so many years before. So number one, understand the rules and understand what they're asking for. But as far back as you can remember, start to document. It has to be in a window of time. But so can I go ahead and talk about suggestions about what to do? Is that okay? Okay. So this is very important when y'all think about this. If you know you're going to get it, then you need to go back to those clients. It's a marketing opportunity and say, just wanted to reach out and thank you for my journey to become a certified speaking professional with the National Speakers Association. Because of your help, this is happening. So you have to know it's happening though. So you reach out and you thank them for making this happen. And then when you get it, you reach back out and you thank them again. And because of you, this happened. But always put in there, like the first email, thank you so much. You know, if you need me, I'm here. I enjoyed so much being with you all. So you can mark it before, it's like a bookend, before you know you're going to get it. and then after you get it. So it's a great marketing tool. I mentioned that to somebody at our last conference and they said, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I didn't think of that." But it is. It's to let people know that you've elevated your game and you're being recognized for it. That's it.
Great,
Thank you,
great
Jane.
insights, Jane. Great insights. If it's okay, we'll pass the mic to Nancy. Nancy, what's been your experience?
Me two hands to get the mic. So I'm delighted to be here. It's delightful to see all of you here. I will tell you, my journey is that a colleague of mine whispered in my ear and said, "You need to get a CSP. You have so much experience. You've done so much training, so much speaking. You need to do it." And I was like, "What the heck is a CSP?" And she explained it to me. Then I went to Influence that summer of 2013 and learned about it, went to the workshop. You know, I think about the transformation in the last 9 years of how far, you know, Jane, you talk about what the rules were when you did it. When I did it, it was a little bit different. And now there's so much around to help you. The year that I got certified, which was in 2014, they had changed the rules. So they were allowing people to come in through the old way and also inviting people to come in the new way. So there were 77 of us because it felt like it was the moment to get it, you know, because there were different opportunities. What I would say to you is what I learned is informing your clients, so a little bit different than what Jane's saying, but informing them that you're, first of all, asking for their approval to use them as a client in the process, and that they will get something, like educating them on what they're going to get. Because what happened to me is I was in Denver celebrating my birthday with my brother and sister-in-law and my husband, and I get an email that says from NSA that said, "Nancy, only 13 of your clients have responded to our thing, and the deadline is Monday. So if you don't have the 20 people, you know, 20 clients, you're out." So I'm in Denver with a broken ankle with a boot on. And I then reach out to 7 more people because I haven't read the email completely that said you have to have the same 20. You can't add more. So I got 7 more clients that were willing to do it. And then I reread the email. No, I wasn't high, you know, because they were selling marijuana there. I was not, I was the only one out of our party of 4 that was not high, I will tell you that. And so then I read it, and then I got an update on Monday morning that I still had 1 client left, because I reached out to everybody and I just said, "Listen, folks, you may not know the impact of this is I'm not going to be considered." When we came back from Denver that Monday afternoon, I still had 1 client. I called during I was in Charlotte in a layover, and I said, "If you can't get this in by 5 o'clock today, I lose out." She said, "I'm so sorry, I will do it right away." And at 4:49, she submitted the evaluation. So I just, you know, lived through the experience, wanted to share it with you, that I would definitely say inform your people ahead of time and make sure they're ones that you know are going to follow up for you as well. And I'm proud to be a CSP.
That's amazing, and I
That's
love
my story.
that we've got questions coming in. Please keep your questions coming in. After we hear from all of our CSPs, we'll go into answering your specific questions. Stan, I know you're on the road, about to tee it up. What you got for us, Stan Phelps, CSP?
Yeah, thank you. So I went to Influence back in 2015, my first Influence, and I saw Meredith Oliver, who's awesome. She's based here in the Triangle. I saw her walk across the stage, and I said, and they do a great job at Influence, and Kevin can attest to it, having just done it back in July, but they do a great job at the conference. And I immediately said, boy, I want to make this a goal. Now, I wouldn't get my CSP for another 4 years. I got it in 2019, but I knew then I was going to start to track and do the things that Jane suggested. And I'll share one tip, because in 2015, I went big into using eSpeakers to manage my calendar. And eSpeakers, as long as you're putting great information in, has a feature where you can literally press a button and it spits out a spreadsheet of what you need for your CSP application. So immediately then, when I knew I wanted to get my CSP and I got eSpeakers, I went in and put all of my presentations from the previous 3 years into eSpeakers. And then when I was ready the year in 2018, when I was doing all the work, it made it much easier to put together, the record of the 250 paid presentations. I'll also echo another thing that Jane said. If you're doing things like half-day workshops or full-day workshops, you have the ability to break those into modules, which count as a paid speaking event. You also have the opportunity, if you sell any programs from the stage, or if you sell books from the back of the room at an event, as long as you get, that counts towards being paid, as long as those sales happen the same day. So you might have some free events that you've done where you've sold books or you've sold programs. Know that they qualify towards your 250. The last bit of advice, and I've got to hop, is that I would recommend, because they're going to ask for 20 client reviews, which was Nancy was just mentioning. At minimum, you want to put together a spreadsheet of 35 to 40 of your clients. You would never want to be in a position where you just put 20 or 25 in, because then you're really relying on all of your clients to fill that out. And to Nancy's point, you don't want to, it's going to be up to you to kind of chase them. You want to make the odds in your favor as much as possible. And then last but not least, I think a lot of people worry about the video. Know that, you'll have an opportunity once you start this process, in a 4 to 6 month period to go and do a video or 2 videos of a program that you've done. And, it doesn't have to be the best video in the world. They're looking more at your content and your platform skills, not your AV ability. So that would be my challenges and suggestions.
Excellent points. Thank you so much, Stan. Hit them straight. Don't be like me, Tiger's cousin, Larry, hit it in the woods. We'll pass it to Kevin. If you're in a place where you can talk, Kevin, we would love to have you share, and then we'll roll into the questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my video off to help me with my bandwidth. I agree with everything, and I'll triple down on everything that's been mentioned. Although the deadline date is January 10th of next year, it's not something that you can wait until Christmas to start putting together, because that's the deadline. If it's not in, and they're going to let you know too, the committee is wonderful at NSA for this. So if you submit something, and let's say it's November or early December, and let's just say you thought the application was complete, but there was just one little thing missing, they're going to let you know, and you've got the time to get it in. If you wait until January 9th, and there's something missing and the 10th expires, sorry, 2025 is your only option, or is your next option. So I would say don't wait. I would also say, again, going back, I think we've had 1 or 2 people join since we started this session, but this is your accountability group. This is your support group. For any of you, look in the chat, who are doing this in 2024, get together on a every 2 or 3 week basis just to check in with each other. Use yourself as support. And just from what I heard this past year with why people didn't get it who passed through phase 1, I mean, the documentation is phase one. There's 3 phases, actually 4 phases to this, 3 for us. One is the spreadsheet. Number 2 is the evaluators. I love what Jane said too about let's give them, it's an excuse for you to let past clients know, hey, I'm up for this amazing credential within the speaking profession and you are part of it. Thank you in the past. Can you help me in the future by simply being an evaluator? And then you can follow up with them 1 or 2 times. I did 30, as I posted in the chat, I did 37, and many of those have actually hired me since, because it's been 2 or 3 years or 4. I have gotten business from that. And that is a byproduct of why you should pursue this as well, not just for the designation, but it's a great excuse to stay in touch with past clients. And Stan's exactly right too. I had several companies who, and I speak at a lot of conferences where I'm doing a keynote, but I'm doing a breakout or 2, or I do a half day or full day training, where as long as it's a different program and a different audience, I can count one engagement where I did 3 or 4 presentations 4 times. That counts as 4 paid presentations. I just divide it 4 ways with my total fee, if that makes sense. So anyway, I'm kind of sharing a couple nuggets here, but I think that was very helpful for me, knowing that I could count one conference 3 or 4 times.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kevin. I've got just a real question from everyone else, and then I'm gonna pass it to Sarah, who's gonna take over as moderator. Thanks so much, Sarah. Has it had a true impact, positive impact? And I know we don't talk dollars, but if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. Has it had a true positive impact on your business having those 3 letters? I'd love to know, Jane, Nancy, Kevin, has it been a positive impact, and how? We got you, Jane. Ooh, I think Jane might have froze. We'll wait for you to come off mute. It's no worries. Take your time. Nancy, have you seen a positive impact in your business?
So I would say yes, from the perspective of that when people are curious about the 3 letters, and when you say what it is, because they have in their own mind that it might be something else, just because those 3 letters might be somewhere, in other places. But I think what it does is it elevates. I will tell you again, another example from that, getting the certification, getting the credential, and then I went to a breakout for speaker bureaus, and somebody asked the question about CSPs, like, do you consider them first? And all 3 of those bureaus said, oh, we don't care about that designation. And my husband looked at me and he was like, and why did you go through all that? And I said, because it was for me. And it also is that I feel proud about being a CSP. But I would say to you that in some cases, they're looking for it. Like when you apply to speak at some conferences, that CSP does elevate you as being in the top 12% or whatever the numbers are today.
And I'll piggyback on that, Nancy, because I have found that when people pay your fee, they want their folks that paid, if they paid to come, or if they're association members, to know that this is an investment because this person is a certified speaking professional. And in parentheses, I would put only granted to the 12%, if that's the statistic, of members of the National Speakers Association. And it has helped me. Now, personally, it was very important that I get my CSP because NSA met me as a singer. Although I've been speaking for a while, I opened the National Speakers Association with the national anthem. That was the first time anybody ever knew me. So what happens, you're pigeonholed as just as a singer. And so Al Walker told me that his first NSA convention, he was so happy. They asked him to dress up as a clown. And he said, "You just don't know how happy I am that I was wearing a mask because people pigeonhole you." So it was vitally important for my peers to know, first of all, within the NSA community. And secondly, to me, that puts you on a trajectory, how you say that word, to CPAE.
Wow, that was so great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I have to say, Jane, just this week, I was asked to fill out a part of the bio and the background information that folks want, but it was for the group where I was speaking for their accreditation process for some CE credits. And the person asked me if I had my CSP, and I had to say, not yet, not yet. All right, so we are getting to the portion where we share questions from the chat, but first, can we give a big thank you to Larry? Larry, thank you so much for kicking this off. We really appreciate you, sir. Love tag teaming this with you. Really appreciate it. All right, let's go into the chat because there are some great questions here. I want to bring up one that made me laugh because I wondered the same thing. And it was a question, I think, from Michelle and Deanna. And it was, are you really required to show 5 years? So, a little bit of help or background information on that, maybe some supportive words from our CSPs.
Oh, yeah, honey. It's no joke. I mean, if you're in it to win it, you're going to win it. That's all there is to it. And you got to let people know you're serious about it.
I have to change my timeline then.
And that's all right. We heard from Stan Phelps earlier how he realized he wanted it and adjusted his process to begin tracking so that he was able to capture. I also think there are a couple questions in the chat about what counts. So as we're thinking about 5 years worth, 250 examples worth, there's the question here, if I do a workshop, I see that they required 15. Some of mine have been close, but they might have qualified for other reasons. I want to ask our CSPs, as we have specific questions for that, if we've done the rest of our application and we're showing that we're working hard on that, we're showing that we read this PDF, would you recommend that we reach out if we have questions to the committee about some of these specifics? And if so, how would you recommend going about that?
I'll take this one because there was no committee. The year that I was getting my CSP, they were really in transition. In fact, they didn't notify anybody that they got their CSP until the first week in June, and the influence conference was the third week in June. So it was a cluster, whatever you want to add to that word that's your choice. So it was really, really a transition year. I would say to you that there's a lot of people everyone on that committee is looking to be helpful. And if you have a question, even if you only have one question, just reach out. Like almost get your own point of contact on the committee. They're not going to see you as, oh my goodness, this person has so many questions, they're really a pain. They're going to say, I have an opportunity to help you be successful. And the other thing I would say about tracking, I keep really strong records. So I was able to go back to my invoices for those 5 years. And because it would be very specific about what I was doing, I was able to get all my information from that. So don't think it's just a blank piece of paper.
That's so helpful, Nancy. And I see Mercedes made a note here that there is a designated person who answers questions and shares. I asked many and she responded very promptly, which is just so helpful to hear. Sharon, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I'd like to ask, because I know for Nancy, this was a big part of your application process, Nancy. As you and I have spoken in the past, I do a tremendous amount of training, and I'm actually on, and I want to thank Stan for reminding us how helpful, if you are a member of eSpeakers, you can, if you're really good about putting in all of your stuff there, it will actually calculate and spit out that spreadsheet. But I'm sitting here on this right now. So a lot of I do still keep a day job at UNC Health, but my day job at UNC Health is I am a speaker coach and trainer 5 days a week. So it's not 20% of my salary job. I would venture to say it's 75 to 80% of my job. but how do I prove that to them? Because there's the blank salary for 2022. And I'm supposed to, so I would like to, I guess I could have someone in HR write the letter saying, this is what she does all the time. And we would equate 75% of her work day or of her work with the organization is as a speaker trainer or speaker and trainer. So would I, and then so I could say, all right, well, then that's my number, the 75%, and put that number in for the salary. Is that the way it would work? Or do they have their own ideas?
Yeah, so
I tell you, that's tricky, Nancy. You might, I think you're gonna have to call the committee on that one, because they are talking more about independent of your primary employer. It would be you as a independent professional speaker. Then again, they've changed a lot. We didn't have anything digital. I got mine back in the early 2000s. And so we had to fill out papers, and it was, I still got mine. Every time I look over and see them, and they're stacked up in a folder, I want to throw up because it was so much work. But I would have to reach out to the committee and ask them, because historically it's been, that would not count because that is your job. Independent of your job, how much do you get booked to do that? Then
And
again,
I'm doing both. Yeah, I mean, I speak independently for McLeod Consulting, and I have my, QuickBooks will tell me exactly how much I make that. But then, like I said, and at my agency, so previous to my current employer, I owned my own agency, and I was the vice president of professional development, which meant I was teaching workshops all year long.
Right.
So go ahead, Nancy.
What I was going to say is, in that case, you were billing a client for that work. So that's clean. That's very, very clean. I agree with Jane. I would check with them, because, there may be a way for HR to write some kind of note that says, we've contracted with Sharon to do this, and this is how many hours per week she does this training or this, consulting work. So there may be a way around it. But definitely when you were, West Park.
Walk West, yeah.
Okay, that was close. It's the shopping center. I must have shopping on my brain today.
Right.
But when you were there, you were clearly doing diversity training. You were clearly doing leadership training. You were clearly, you contracted with NC State. You were doing that. So all those things are clean from that perspective. And Jane, I still have all my paperwork too.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I just want to call something out.
Just double check that, excuse me for like double check that, because girl, you don't want to do all that work of them to say rejected.
Oh, thank you. All right, we've got some raised hands, but real quick, I just want to point out something from Sharon's specific question that I think relates to all of us. When she was mentioning this question of, does this count? She shared the idea of getting someone at HR from the organization to maybe provide some additional direction. I want to point out that's another time that we've heard an example of maybe providing more than what the application is asking for. Earlier, Kevin was talking about, yes, they asked for 20 names. I gave them 35. Or maybe that was Stan. And Kevin's example of, yes, they ask you to track up to 50K, but I kept tracking that year to show more just in case. So I think when we're looking at this PDF together of all these requirements, let's maybe have a helpful mindset of, this is the minimum. These are the minimum requirements. And we might be able to add supplemental information in addition, but we're going to be checking with the committee if we need to. One quick anecdote about that. And then Kevin, I'm going to turn it over to you because I saw your hand raised. I saw a comedian once, I think it was Chris Rock, but I'd have to go back and check, who said that when he was struggling and his car used to break down, if he was just standing beside the car, nobody would come help him. But if he started to try to push it, all these people would come over and help him. And he said that when people can tell that you're making a good effort, they're more likely to come help. So I think as you're asking questions to these committee members, something you can do is show the work you've done so far, reference what you read in the PDF, really show that you're doing your best to answer these questions on their own. And I think that could be a great way to have that friendly relationship with that committee member. Kevin, thanks for letting me do that transition. What was the item you raised your hand about?
Sharon's question is a very common one. Pages 14 and 15 in the guide. go in a little bit more detail with that. And I remember when I was, and even the small group that I was in last year with other CSP applicants from other chapters, 2 of them in our small group actually worked as a trainer for a company that put them out speaking. And I'll be honest, in the spirit of transparency, if you're told where to go, like if you work for Dale Carnegie and you don't have to hustle to get the engagement, you're told where to go. Like, just for me, I struggle with that a little bit. I was like, man, I am the business. I'm not just this presenter. I'm not just the trainer. I am everything. Like, I have an assistant, and I love the NSA is kind of now more, I mean, presenting and speaking is so much more than just keynoting, right? And I heard that addressed a lot at the past conference. So what's good with that, and this is a good thing for Sharon and anyone, is, yeah, I mean, if your employer, and you do a lot of speaking with like, you can count that. It just needs to be a verification letter from your immediate supervisor. But it's almost like I feel like there should be 2 different types of CSPs, but I'll just keep that between us. I don't know, but they're not going to do that. Nor am I suggesting. It just kind of is like, wow, it's there's many maybe some different ways of doing the show, which is good. So don't limit yourself too. Like, and even if you guys do form a small group, maybe you can come up with a list of questions every time you meet, and then one person is the person that kind of reaches out to the CSP committee to say, hey, here's some of the questions that we got. But they're going to respond to you individually no matter what either. So that might be something to think about.
Yeah, all good ideas. Nancy, I saw you raise your hand. I just want to point out one quick thing about what Kevin shared here. My takeaway is the CSP designation has evolved. It has continued to change. And so I think that we're doing 2 things at once. We're talking to people who have gotten their CFP and we're learning from them. And that is incredibly helpful. Probably wouldn't want to do this process without doing that. And we're recognizing that the CSP has continued to change and that there are opportunities maybe for folks to be included who wouldn't have otherwise, which is really exciting from a diversity perspective. And then there are new opportunities for things like digital media to be shared. So we're doing both. We're talking to folks who have it, and we're studying that PDF to understand more about what's going on for this year, for next year, whatever your horizon is. Nancy, I saw your hand up. What was that about?
So, and you said it more eloquently than I could have, but I would say to you that, for a long time, training wasn't included. That was a big transformation. It was just speaking. It was just keynote, and that was it. I would not have gotten my CSP if that was only it. I will tell you that. Because my world is mostly training with a percentage of speaking. So that, to your point, Sarah, absolutely, it's been evolving.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that, Nancy. And for those of us with a training background, that's helpful to hear. So thank you so much. We have a couple folks who are dropping off and just sharing in the chat that Jane, thank you so much for sharing all of your insights. We appreciate you. Thank you, Jane. And then for some of the folks who joined to learn more, who shared their emails in the chat, we will send out a note to create a small group that's focused on this. And I will say, this year we are embracing this challenge of rising tide raises all boats. So if you're thinking about doing this for 2025, I'll be honest, if you're thinking about doing this for 2035, come on, like, join us, hang out, like, learn as we do it. There is no gatekeeping here. So if you're interested in this, we are going to have folks who I think are going to be heads down in the spreadsheet trying to figure this out for this year. But if you want to join and you have this set on a future one, that's great too. So we'll get that information out. I see that we've answered most of the questions here. There was the question that already got answered about, can we submit multiple videos and more than one talk and things like that? And we heard some more, we got some color added to that, but I'll be quiet for a minute and just see, do we have any remaining questions as we wrap this part up? Awesome. Well, Kevin, I think we're all good. I think we got through the Q&A portion, and I know you and I had talked about, there were a couple exciting just wrap up things you wanted to share to help folks know what's coming down the pipeline. You want to take it?
Thanks, Sarah, master facilitator. CSP future. Yeah, thank y'all, these SIGs are designed. I mean, today's a great example. Hey, for a unique niche within our membership, this is members only, right? That's a value add. Membership has its privileges. This is a perfect example. Don't, even if today intimidated you, don't let it. Let it be a guiding star. Let it be, know that this won't, and also I would say this, expect this to be a very time intensive process, but that's the key. Documentation. I actually was surprised how organized I was in 2015, 16, 17, and 18. I was worried. I was really worried. I felt confident I met the criteria, but could I document it? Could I show it? And I actually was I was a little more organized than I thought. But don't let that happen. Like, the key is start now, right? Start now. And even if you get that spreadsheet, I mean, that's how you run a business too, y'all. That's how you run the business. So if you're seriously considered for 2024, definitely encourage y'all to form a small group. If you let us know when you guys meet, I'm sure Peter A can post it in our Facebook page, and that way we're probably missing somebody else or three. So, just let us know how we can help you all continue that connection. And then, yeah, we've got some other events coming up too next week.
You're
Oh,
mute.
darn. I think I hit the wrong button and muted you, Kevin. I promise it wasn't intentional.
Yeah. So, like, next week, for example, is another SIG on demo video. And several of us who feel good about our current demo video are going to be sharing some of those elements there. So whether you don't have a video or know you need to get a better video, or you have a good video, you want to share it. I mean, that's the spirit of what we're trying to do here. So join us next Wednesday. Larry mentioned Speaker Academy just got announced. We're going to be talking about that a little more. And then also we have a big in-person workshop in Raleigh that we have padded with meat on the bone, y'all. It is going to be so freaking good. But it's going to be in Raleigh. And then our next in-person won't be until the intensive, and that's probably going to be in the Greensboro-ish area. And then in January in person, we're going to be going down to South Kakalaki, and we're going to meet at Chuck Gallagher's studio, where we're also going to be hosting what is still in the works from NSA National. They're hosting a national story jam competition. And I am confident that someone from our chapter will rock it. And so it's a competition. It's kind of like the Toastmasters International Speech Contest, but it's a little bit different. It'll be better. But so that's going to be a 5-minute story jam. So let me just wet your noodle a little bit. A 5-minute story, shake and bake. We're going to have a competition, and the winner of the NSA Carolinas is going to go to the next level, and the top 3 are going to be presenting at the Influence National Conference stage next August. So I'm already working on my story, y'all. I already know what it's going to be. It's probably going to be something like Price is Right. I don't know. But the spirit of competition is going to make us all better. That's all I got.
Kevin,
Any questions, comments?
Yeah, Kevin, I have a question on that. So do we have more information from NSA now on that? Are there 5-minute stories?
Not yet. The committee's working on it, and they're going to hopefully send out more information, I think, the beginning of October. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, I checked in with them yesterday too. Yeah, thank you, Nancy. Oh, by the way, y'all, Nancy's on the chapter leadership council, so she's representing us.
I know.
All over the country.
I was gonna say that's the only reason why I knew what the heck was going on. So there was just a meeting on Monday, and they talked about the national talked about the fact that the committee's working on it and they're making good progress, but they haven't announced it yet. I just also, since I have the mic at the moment, I saw in there some stuff with the chat about if you go to if you go to the winter conference or you go to the Influence conference, that all counts towards your whatever the number of credits is that you need. So you definitely want to track that as well.
Thank you for that, Nancy. Awesome. And Terry, thank you for that question about the story jam. I'm sure we're all excited to hear more. All right, last chance for question. Oh, Mike, your question about how the Speaker Academy is helpful compared to this designation. That's a great question. Our Speaker Academy is a fantastic resource. I leveraged it last year, and it's a great way to make sure that you are double checking your fundamentals. So making sure that as you consider your speaking business as a business, as you consider your talks, that you're double checking those fundamentals. Personally, I think it's helpful at any level to go back and to look at those fundamentals. So Speaker Academy is an absolutely fantastic resource. It's not necessarily a designation, and it's not something that you have to do in order to have our NSA member badge. So it's not something you would pursue in order to get a designation or a certification, but it's absolutely something you should consider if you think it would be helpful to have community and expertise sharing ways that you can focus on your speaker business from that foundational level. So that's the difference there. And if you'd like to talk more about it, feel free to email our board members or the admin email that you get from NSA Carolinas, and we'll answer your questions. Fundamentals are fundamental, says Kevin. Love it. We've got so many good takeaways. What did Larry say? It's got to make dollars to make sense or something. That one, fundamentals are fundamental. I'm taking all these with me today. All right. Any last questions as we wrap up?
I do. I have one last question. I know I've been very verbal today, but I just want to know, Kevin, have you been like parked on the side of a road somewhere, or have you been driving a car without your hands? I just want to know the difference. Just want to know the truth. So are you, the question, you didn't answer my question. My question is,
I just parked actually.
okay, all right, very good. I just, I mean, because, we have technology today that allows you to drive, excuse me, without your hands and.
Yeah, I just ordered the self-driving Cybertruck, which I'll have early 2024. Cannot wait. I'm gonna host Zoom meetings in the car while I'm driving like this.
Okay, that's good to know for the, thank you for letting me know ahead of time. So I can prepare my heart for that. Prepare my heart.
Nancy, we had that back in the day. It was called driving with your knees.
That's very true.
No.
That's very true. But there's just something different about it. I don't know, because the knees were still on the wheel. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
They're still.
I think they said the same thing about the telephone, right? And the Pony Express. So it'll be fine.
So I just also want to say that unfortunately I will not be at the in-person meeting. I would have liked to have been, but it is my son's first home game as an offensive coordinator of Fontbonne University. So we will be in St. Louis.
Well, we're going to be sending y'all so many good thoughts. That's amazing. I hope he has a great first home game. Good luck.
Yep. We're excited. Very excited. I even like the colors of the team. So that's encouraging.
Oh, so important. Love that. Yeah, I'm part of the reason that I was okay with my husband being a Michigan fan and Detroit Lions fan is that I like blue. So, it's
and
fun.
good job they did last night beating Kansas
He is
City.
so happy.
I know. I don't even like either team, but I just was excited that the underdog won. That's
you don't have to like the Lions, but it's hard to hate them because man, they make it hard enough for themselves, don't they? All right, y'all, thank you so much for this. As always, so appreciative of the NSA Carolinas community and all it does to help raise the boats from all tide sides. Y'all have a great Friday, great weekend.
Very nice. Thanks, Sarah. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
y'all.
you.